All right. Good evening. So yeah, we got Alpha Omicron, Epsilon Iota in the house. And we got Omicron as well with Jack. Thanks for being here. We got Tom, Executive Director, the big man. And so thank you, Tom, for making the time out of your evening to be here as well. And as we get into this and get started, you all, the whole intention of this next hour is really meant to help you and Psi U really think and strategize and discover how you can completely revolutionize and maximize your growth this upcoming term. I know that some of you may have been at conventions, some of you may have had some conversations with Phired Up in the past, but our whole mission and purpose is to help organizations like Psi U and all fraternities and sororities to just grow in intentional and meaningful ways. So we're going to talk a little bit about what does that mean for Psi U? What are some things that we could potentially implement and put into practice, getting prepped for the fall and really going into it, and really why we need to change our mindset around recruitment, and how our ability to have the right mindset and confidence will lead us into a completely different realm when it comes to growing our chapters. So here's what we're going to do. I have two numbers on the screen, really a ratio, 10 to 1. And we probably have some mathematic, analytical people in here, RPI, for example. Drop in the chat really quick, or again, us, if you feel called to come off mute. This number represents something, and it means something to you, specifically when it comes to growth. I want you to take a stab at what you think this means. Ponder it for a second, and then put your idea in the chat. 10 to 1. What does that represent, and how is it relevant to you? Okay, Josh. So Josh, every 10 people you will talk to, only one will join. Okay. Others, thoughts, ideas. And think about, how does this affect your ability to grow your chapter as well? 10 to 1. Or maybe you agree with Josh because he nailed it. Way to go. Josh, you're spot on. I want you all, if you don't know the statistic, to start out with two things to think about. One in every 10 people that go to college today are involved in a fraternity or sorority. That's the national average. It's probably a little bit different on your campus. It might be a little less, might be a little more. Some campuses, it might be drastically more. But on average, 1 in every 10 people are joining. And also, Josh, to your point, if we think about recruitment as just we have to recruit every single person, it may make it challenging for us to truly do that. So every 10 people that we just know, we have the opportunity to recruit if we just invite them, if we just ask them. So I want to share with you all this evening a complete mindset shift around growth and recruitment from being this process, this thing that we have to do, and really being a thing where we get to do and we get to invite people to participate in. Because just to share a little bit about myself, I'm a growth consultant with Phired Up. What that really means is I have the chance to work with men and women across the globe in fraternity and sorority and help them understand how to truly grow their organizations in a really meaningful way. Feel free to find me on Instagram, grab my email. I'll put this up at the end too. But my joining story all comes down to the idea that we're talking about here. I was one of the nine. I did not want to be part of a fraternity. I had no intention. But because of people and relationships and connections, not fraternity, I ended up part of my organization. And now I'm here speaking to you about growing yours. And so without getting too into the details, we're really going to talk through how does our mindset need to be when it comes to recruitment and growth, and what should that mean for your organization so that you can get excited about recruitment and realize that there's so much potential and opportunity out there for you. So where I want to start, I think it's really helpful before getting into all the things and telling you why and what you should do and how you should do it and et cetera and all that. We need to know, like, what does the evidence say? What are the facts? What do we actually know about people who are not joining fraternities and sororities, that aren't joining Psi U right now? So feel free, if you're a data person, if you love reports, again, maybe we got a couple on the call based on the chapters represented, I want you to scan this QR code. Scan it because it has the full detail. But what we're going to do is actually talk through 3 key metrics that I want you all to think about. So the first one, I want you to get ready, get your fingers ready for the chat. We asked a very simple question. This was several thousand people that we had asked. And the question was, what is your interest level in joining a fraternity or sorority? High, neutral, or low? And I want to ask you, what percent of people do you think were in a high or neutral level? Out of the 100%, how many said, I have a high interest in joining a fraternity, or I have a neutral interest? Drop your guess in the chat. Okay, Solar saying 15, Tom saying 50, Jack 20, or excuse me, Josh 20, Jack 60. All right, we're all right around, and I love it because actually we're probably pretty close if you average them out. 43% of students not in a fraternity or sorority right now say that they have a higher interest or higher neutral interest in Greek life. Really interesting because, again, we just talked about how many are involved in fraternity and sorority right now. 10 to 1. 1%, or excuse me, 10%. Out of every 10 people, only 1 person is involved. But we have 43, let's just round down, 4 in 10 that are saying that they're interested. When we ask for those who have a high or neutral interest in fraternity or sorority, that are not in fraternity and sorority, why didn't they join? The number one reason, it might surprise you, but what do you think the number one reason is? Drop that in the chat as well. There's 43%, 4 in 10 people that say they might be interested in fraternity, but only 1 in 10, 10% of those people are joining. Where's the disconnect? Why aren't they joining? What's the number one reason? Drop your idea in the chat there. What could it be? What could it be? Why aren't men and women joining fraternity? Didn't feel connected to any in particular. Yeah, didn't feel that connection. That's definitely high up there, Solar. Thanks for sharing that. Tom, never asked. Other thoughts? Why are 43% interested, but only 10% are joining? Let's get one more idea out here. I'd love to know. What do you think? Lack of perceived purpose. Thanks, Jack. I love that, man. Here's what I would let you all know. What it really comes down to is they were never invited. Simply put, 3 out of every 4 people, 75% of the people who are interested, again, 40% are interested, only 10% are joining. 4 in 10, 1 in 10. 75% were never recruited. That's what they say. I just was never recruited. I was never invited to an event. I was never asked to come out and meet the members. I was never told that fraternity is something that like I should pursue and had that personal invitation. So it really falls back on us as members to think about, there's a lot of people out there that we're just never inviting. We're never recruiting because we're all in the same ecosystem. Think on your campus, and I know a couple that are represented here. All the fraternities are going after the same types of people, going after the same, those who have registered recruitment, those who have said that, oh yeah, signed up at orientation, whatever it may be. But there's so many more, and maybe even some of you here on this call that weren't in those traditional pools or pipelines that are interested. We're just never asking them. So we're going to talk through how do we actually approach that. And here's the last statistic. This one's a lot of fun. We asked this specific question, and it was a simple yes or no. Are you interested in an organization on campus that has high moral development, human connection, leadership? It's all about making a positive impact in the world. And we asked, are you interested? Yes. Or are you interested? No. How many do you think, percentage, just throw a percentage out there. What's the percentage that replied positively and said yes to this question? Drop it in the chat. Give me your boldest, bravest guess. 80. Solar says 80. Do we have any higher bidders? Just kidding. Give it your best guess based on your campus and what you know about the people and the students on your campus. Or there, how many would respond? Yeah, I'd be interested in this. 50. Okay. Yeah, Josh. Other ideas? Kaylin or Jack? Love to know from your organizations, your chapters as well. 65. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? 91% replied favorably to this. They said, yes, I would pursue this. I'd be interested in this. I would learn more about this type of organization. And here's the thing, what I do know about Psi U is this represents you all. You have particular values and you have particular things that make you all unique as an organization, but you all are all about leadership. You're about bringing people in, making that positive impact through the service and philanthropy you all get to do. You're about that high moral character and the development and the values that you all represent. This is not necessarily a recruitment problem, you all. I really want to drive home to you based on the evidence and not my personal opinion, just what we know from the evidence. We have a connection problem. We are not connecting the dots between who we truly are as an organization and what it actually means to an individual person and inviting them and showing them what we're about. We tend to just make it about the big events. We tend to make it about the things that make us a great chapter, our number of members or our awards on campus or how many service hours or our GPA. And trust me, those things are important. But at the end of the day, people want to be joining with people. And so we're going to talk about that. I do want to share with you what potential members really want. Here's some statistics on the screen, and you can see we put some numbers here so you can specifically see how many students that we're asking these questions to. What do they really want? So this isn't like a small little sample size, but I'm sure we have hundreds, if not thousands, of students from your particular campus represented in this information. So here's a question, and would love for you to drop it in the chat, or if you're feeling brave and bold enough, feel free to come off mute. What about this list sparks your curiosity? What sticks out to you? Either like, wow, I never realized that, or I'm surprised by this. Love to have somebody just share. Again, it's a smaller group, so let's feel free. Let's make this conversational. I want to know what about this that PNMs actually want sticks out to you or surprises you.
I'm surprised that so many people looked for community service opportunities.
Why are you surprised by that, Solar?
I don't know. I feel like most people aren't willing to do things if they're busy with academics.
Yeah, and busy with academics. To your point, look at the academic support. That's what, almost not half per se, but it's only at 30% versus community service is at 53. And my gut tells me, hey, when I go to college, your all's generation, Gen Z, incoming Gen Alpha, you all are very pragmatic. You all are very focused on what's the return on investment, ROI, if you all have ever heard that. And so if you're going to come to college and spend the 4+ years of your life pursuing a degree and paying whatever amount in student loans or tuition that you have to pay, you're going to make sure that you get your academics taken care of one way or another. Some prioritize it in different ways, but it's interesting because one of the biggest things a lot of organizations talk about, I'm not sure about your chapter and any of the Psi U chapters here, but we really promote academic excellence. And that's like a branded talking point. And trust me, again, important, but is it what they really want? We have to think about that. So thanks for sharing that, Solar, because yeah, maybe there's an opportunity for us to really highlight the ways to connect and show potential members and people that we do more service, we do more activities that really benefit the community. We'd love to have one more person either in the chat or just come off mute, just like Solar did. Thank you so much. What resonates or sticks out most in this list to you?
I'm surprised that only 71% want friends. I feel like more people would want to have friends, right?
Yeah, interesting, Josh, for sure. And here's a good point. We have a framework in Phired Up. We have always joiners, maybe joiners, and never joiners. And to put it into perspective, you're going to have the people who always want to join fraternity, right? They're no matter what you say, they know they're going to join an organization. It's just where. On the flip side, you have the never joiners. And those are the people that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you offer, even if it was the perfect experience for them, they're not going to join. And those tend to be smaller, like 10, 15% max on the ends of the spectrum. And then in the middle is that 70 to 80%. Those are the maybe joiners. So I just bring that up, Josh, because you bring up a valid point. But here's the thing. We are not for everyone. Psi U is not for everyone. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to recruit that 90%, the 9 out of the 10 that aren't joining. But what if you just recruited 1 of the 10? How would that change for you to potentially double your organization? That's what we need to think about here. So yeah, great point. Like, shouldn't everybody want friends? But some people don't, or some people don't prioritize that, and that's okay. I appreciate that. But obviously, the friends and finding a place to belong and fun, those 3 F's, if you want to call it, those being at the top, how are we presenting that when it comes to joining our organizations and really prioritizing that versus, again, not saying this is of your all's organizations represented in chapters here, but a lot of times we hit the bottom 4. We hit the things about our organization versus the who we are as an organization. And so that's going to be a big thing I want you all to think about. Here are some reasons why potential members don't show up as well, just to give you the data and information, because we're going to challenge that and we're going to talk through how do we change that in our organizations. Here are some of the top reasons that potential members don't show up. So most of these I will share with you are actually completely misaligned expectations. Cost, for example. Feel free to put it in the chat. It'd be super helpful for me to just know what are the typical dues on your campus for your chapter. Just go on a semester or term basis. Like, what are your typical member dues? Drop them in the chat. I just want to get a rough estimate of where you all are at with your organizations, your particular campus, because it varies, right? But like when we think about cost, and as you guys are putting you all are putting those into the chat, I just want you all to realize the cost associated in people's mind, their misaligned expectation is that it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars per year, just like their tuition, which there are some chapters that have that if you have a facility and meal plan and different things, but several, are less than $1,000. Heck, I know organizations that have it at $600, $700, sometimes $5. It just varies, but it's a misaligned expectation. Same thing with the not getting invited to the top choice. Their expectation of what the top choice should be for them, whether based on perception or what somebody else is telling them versus helping them understand fraternity. Yeah, you can go after those that are top tier, or you can go after those that are actually have the meaningful connection and the relationships and the people that are going to spur you on to be a better person. So I just challenge you all to think these typical reasons why people don't show up and join organizations are a lot of times on us to set clear expectations. Because again, going back to the top, why are we not recruiting? Because they're never being invited. Cool. All right. So here's the mindset shift. We're going to go from recruitment this fall for Psi U being, I'm doing recruitment to hit a certain number of men and women joining my chapter, members joining my chapter, whatever that may look like for you. I'm going to go from that mindset shift to a completely different one that's centered around relationships, that's centered around connection. Because at the end of the day, you can't recruit who you don't know. And people join people. There are some core philosophies and shifts you need to make in your mindset when it comes to recruitment, because at the end of the day, we all you can do the litmus test on any area of your life. You really are just doing things either for yourself or for others, whether it's your education, job, things that you're doing in your chapter. It's always people focused. Same thing with recruitment. So the mindset shift needs to be away from us as an organization to us as people. And here are some of our core philosophies I want to reemphasize if you've ever heard these, because they always mean something different when you hear them, or bring these to your attention. So these are the things that out of this entire time that we have together, I would highly recommend writing these down, because you bring these core philosophies back to your chapter, back to your members, and really challenge their thinking around recruitment from being, we have to have the events and we have to have a certain number of people and we have to do this and that. And the process, instead, over to the personal relationships, I can guarantee you're going to grow. And you're going to grow in a quality way too, because of the meaningful connections you're making. So there's 5 main core philosophies I want to hit on with you. First, people don't join organizations. People join people. I want you to think, why did you join Psi U? Ponder that for a second. Why did you join Psi Upsilon? What's your joining story? And I know we can't go around to every single person in here, but I'd be willing to bet as you're thinking through that story in your head, there's a person that comes to mind. There's a group of people that come to mind. There's somebody, even myself, forgive me, I know I'm dating myself and how old I am, but 15 years later, I can think of Gabe Rodriguez as the guy who brought me into my organization. He was the number one person alongside my dad. I'm a legacy, so he encouraged me initially. But Gabe Rodriguez was the person who invited me and really made it clear this is the right thing for me to be a part of. Fraternity is the right thing for me. People do not join organizations, you all. I really wanted to drive this home because this is so key. We talk about the things that we do, our history, our founders. We talk about the community service we get to do. We talk about our academics. We talk about our awards. We talk about our house, all these things of our organization. We talk about Psi Upsilon. And don't get me wrong, you all, again, I'm very impressed in your organization and the way that you all are growing on your individual campuses. But the thing is, people don't really care about Psi U. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They don't care about Psi U until they're part of Psi U. Just like they don't care. I'm a member of Lambda Chi Alpha. People don't care about Lambda Chi Alpha unless they're a Lambda Chi Alpha. Plain and simple. And so rather than trying to argue whether or not that's right, why don't we accept that people truly want to join people? They want to be part of something bigger. They want to feel connected. They want to feel relationship. And let's focus on that. Let's drive and encourage people and our members to go after and pursue people and find them and connect with them and invite them to come just hang out with us. We don't have to bring them to the house. We don't have to invite them to the event with 40 other potential members. No, we just need to connect. We need to go out of our way because, again, each one of you knows that one person at least that is probably one of the, if not the main reasons why you're in Psi U. So that one, honestly, there's 5, like I said, that one philosophy though has changed my life. And it's caused me to go from recruitment being like, I have to have the perfect technique. I have to have the right thing to say. I have to have the perfect process to, I just have to invite people. I have to connect with people. I can guarantee if you adopt this mindset truly this fall, you're going to grow in massive ways beyond just numbers. You're going to grow in quality. You're going to grow in character and not just your chapter, you, because this is the key to a fulfilling life is other people. So think about that. Kind of building on it. Recruitment's a relationship business. Goes to what we're talking about here with this people joining people. It's all about relationships. I'm just connecting. I just want to get to know you. I want to know who Solar is and what drives them and why they're involved or come into RPI. I want to learn from Kaylin and hear their story and what exciting things that they're doing here on campus. It's all relationships. It's not meant to be this big, massive process that I know we can get caught up in a lot of times. It's just meant to be a connection. Here's a fun one. Quantity drives quality. I can't see you all, most of you, because your camera is off, but either raise your hand or put a little hand raise emoji if you know how to do that here in Zoom. Raise your hand if you've ever heard the phrase quality over quantity. Yeah, Tom's got 2 hands raised. Who else? Quality over quantity. maybe we're not talking Psi U here, obviously, but maybe another chapter on your campus had a lower recruitment season. They were shooting for 20 and they got 10. Yeah, look at Josh, look at Kaylin. Yup. Oh, yeah. Look, all of us, we've all heard it. Quality over quantity. And while I appreciate that, and again, I'm not talking about Psi U here. I'm maybe talking about Lambda Chi or other organizations. It's honestly an excuse, y'all. It's an excuse to say we didn't meet our goal, but we got quality members. Way to go. And I'm not, forgive me. I really don't mean to like phrase that in a way to like put anybody down. That's not the point. The point being is that that mindset really does not yield growth. It doesn't yield opportunity. And here's the difference I want you to think about. Quantity drives quality. We're flipping it. We're flipping the script. And this is what this means. So somebody drop it in the chat. I'm sure you all thought about it. What's your, in an ideal world, number of members, number of people that you end up recruiting into your chapter this semester? Put it in the chat. Just this is again super helpful to know who's in the room. What are some of the goals, the ambitions of Psi U across the nation? I want to know how many in a perfect world you're able to recruit this number of people. What is it? Josh saying 10. Love it. 7. Love it. Great. 25. Jack. Amen. Cool. So throwing that out there. Great. Here's the question. Let's just go with Kaylin's because it is easy 10. So if Kaylin's chapter has to recruit 10 people and they talk to 20 people, how many people do they need to get bids out to? Now, how many people? What percentage? Excuse me. Yeah. So Kaylin, yeah, 15-ish to have 10 accept. Okay. And like, so out of the 20, what percentage is that? It's 75%. Okay. 15. Or if we're just going to say 10 total accepted, it's an easy 50%. If Kaylin's chapter only talks to 20 people, but they want to recruit 10 people, they have to recruit 50%, 1 in every 2. So I have a question. If you had to pick up 50% of people off the street, what's the likelihood of them being quality, every single one quality members? Every single person being a quality person. You're kind of firing from the hip. And I know like the 20, you could say, oh, they're the best 20 on campus, etc. Again, here's the mindset shift, right? What if Kaylin's chapter talked to 50 people and they only needed 10? But maybe they're still saying, oh, about 50% of them look good. Well, now they have 25 to choose from, but they only need 10, so they can be more selective. They can have more quality. They can narrow that down. So if you put the effort on the front end just to connect and engage and meet more people, and you have a wider selection, that quantity of potential interest, you actually have the ability to be more qualitative, have more quality in your chapter. So I just encourage you, if you are in your chapter or if you're here on campus, quality over quantity, flip that on its head. Quantity drives quality. You have the ability to have the most quality, highest performing chapter on your campus if you just connect with more people, because you'll have the ability to be more selective in the same amount of reaching your goals. All right. You can't recruit who you don't know. Plain and simple. I'm not going to be super long-winded on this one. If you don't know somebody, you can't invite them. And just as we talked about, you're not going to recruit everybody. There's always going to be those never joiners. There's always going to be those people who are maybe joiners that just, they ghost you. They turn off. It's fine. But you can't recruit who you don't know. If I only know 10 people, I can recruit 10 people, potentially. But if I know 100 people, I can potentially recruit 100. Again, maybe I only need to talk to 20 of those, but I know 100. So the idea, again, being let's just go out, let's connect. And then the last big philosophy, which is actually a strategy that I want to spend a little bit of time on with you all, is DCBA. For those of you who have never heard this, or even if you have, totally fine. I want you to drop in the chat, or again, feel free to come off mute. I would love to know, what do you think DCBA means? What the heck are we talking about here when it comes to DCBA and growth and recruitment? What do y'all think? Jack, I'm going to encourage you. I would love to know, take your best stab at it. What do you think DCBA means? What could this be? All right, Jack is stumped. He has no idea. This is a fun one, you all. And this is actually really helpful because one thing, and trust me, I understand, you may be feeling a little overwhelmed, like Chris, connecting with people, and I have to talk to quantity drives quality. So you're telling me I'm already having a hard time recruiting 10 people from 20 people. How am I going to talk to 50? DCBA is the system and the strategy to really help you be organized and intentional about inviting people to be a part of your organization, inviting people to be a part of Psi U. And here's what it is. It's just the process of knowing where somebody is in their connection to you and to your organization. Because let's be honest, there are thousands of strangers on your campus right now, thousands of people you don't know, and no one in your chapter knows. But the moment you have the ability to connect with them, let's say you meet them at orientation, or they're your friend from high school, or you happen to get to know them through class or a class project, they become a name on a list. And that's the D. They become somebody that, hey, we might not have a relationship yet, but there's the ability because now I have them on my list. They've gone from this infinite pool of strangers, infinite quote unquote, to they're a name on a specific list. And then from there, C, we're moving up to where now they're a connection. There's somebody I've actually spent a little bit of time with. It's gone from us just doing that class project together to, hey, we actually caught up over dinner, or they came by and met 2 or 3 of the other members. From there, they actually have a close friend and an interest in your organization. And that's the B stage. And then they're qualified for a bid. They are ready to be part of Psi U. They've expressed interest. You all like them. You all believe they're a good fit. And so finally, it's the final thing. We don't do A plus because that would just be confusing. DCBA A plus, but DCBA and then A plus is when they accept that bid. They've been invited. You all are excited, and they've said, "Heck yeah, time to go." So DCBA is the framework because at any given point, if you can say, "I just met Joe 2 weeks ago, and Joe, we met through orientation, and I've invited him over, and he's met me and one of the other members," and so, but really, he's a C. Versus, hey, I met Joe in orientation. He's come over. He's actually grabbed lunch with us. He's studying with us. He's actually a B, potentially even an A. You can know where people are at in the process and intentionally continue to pursue them based on where they are. So DCBA all comes down to this idea of how do you engage with someone based on where they're at in the conversation. Because if we don't know who they are, that's just what we call marketing or prospecting. You have to get a way to connect with them. But then you do small things that are really easy barriers to entry, low barriers to entry, like getting lunch or inviting them over for coffee, or maybe you take them and meet up with them on campus or whatever is very small activity. There's a rule of 3 to 7. And this is something specific. Again, I didn't put this in the presentation, but to give you all a little extra sauce, 3 to 7 is the primary number for a small activity. Obviously less than 3, it's just a one-on-one. Any more than 7, now you're getting to where it's not actually a small activity. You're going to break off into multiple groups. But if you can keep that number from 3 to 7, so maybe that's 1 or 2 potential members and 1 or 2 members. If you do that, you build some real meaningful connections that can take them from a D to a C. Those events show them the brotherhood, show them the connection, the value that you all represent, and brings it all the way to those deep conversations where you're truly discussing membership and getting them to actually join and bond as a brother and a member. This is a simple process, and this will allow you to do recruitment at scale. Because if you know, we want 20, or excuse me, to go to Kaylin's, we want 10 A pluses, but we only have 10 Ds on our list. Well, that means every single person has to go through this process. What's the likelihood of that? Versus if we have 10 people that we want to invite and accept, and we have 10 Cs and 5 Bs and 3 As, great. We actually are making momentum towards that, and we can continue to see people move through the process. So it's just a simple, if you all have never seen this or never seen this, it's what we call our funnel. We have all of our different pipelines. These are the places that potential members come from, and we have some free resources and tools as part of our digital classroom that I'll show with you at the end that will help you learn what are different pipelines. But it's all about, to really simplify this for you all, start with a conversation, have a small activity, invite them to an event. And one thing's going to happen. They're either going to opt out at some point in the process, or they're going to become a new member. But again, we're not starting. Here's the thing. We start with events so often. We think that's the key to success. But what is that doing? It's highlighting Psi U. It's not highlighting you as a member, as a person. It's focusing on the organization, not focusing on the other person and the potential member. The conversations and small activities lead to the ability to have those events and show who you truly are as an organization. So you got to first put more people into the top of the funnel. You got to create that better experience early on so they actually get engaged, and then realize at the bottom here, that little trickle mark, that either the right members are coming in or the wrong members are going out. So that's a very simplified. We don't have a ton of time on that this evening, but I wanted you all to understand that. So it's simply just that DCBA, D being they're coming into the funnel, C being those conversations and activities, B being the events, again, really showing them and getting them interested, and A being that invitation. DCBA, I know everybody's on mute, and if we did it all off mute right now, it would sound crazy, but I want you to repeat after me. D, C, B, A. Super simple, but it is a game changer. This is the system. This is the system we use with hundreds and hundreds of fraternity and sorority chapters to show them you can bring people through a systemized process, but do it in a way that's relational, do it in a way that's connecting, and actually achieve far greater results than you ever have before, because you have a proven process, but you're doing it in a way that's relatable rather than your typical invite them to the event, make sure that they come out to subsequent events, and then hope that they join. Here's my challenge to you. We've talked about a lot, and we're wrapping up here. My challenge to you is not to go out there and to recruit your number that you talked about. It's not to hit your goal, as much as I really want you to do that. And I believe you can do it. My challenge to you is just to go out and connect with any non-affiliated men and women of Psi U as possible. Men and women on your campus that you believe are a good fit. Because I'm going to tie us back really quick to our 10X. I'm going to tie us back to this. You got them here in the chat, actually. It's simply put, it's right there. The number of people that you want to join your chapter this semester, this term. So get that number. Kaylin, I know yours was 10. I think Jack's was 25. Forgive me, I don't remember everyone's. But get that number in your mind. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to scrap that number and really quickly 10X it and put it in the chat. Go. See who can be the fastest. Who's the quickest on the fingers? Solar's got 70. 100. 250. Great. I think Kaylin was 100 as well. Here's the thing, you all. Your challenge is not to recruit 7 people, Solar. It's not to recruit 10 people, Jack. Or excuse me, Josh. It's not to recruit 250 people, Jack. Your challenge is to connect with 70 people, 100 people, 250 people. And I know that sounds like a lot, but again, I'm not telling you to recruit all these people. And I'm not telling you to do it on your own. You should have other people in your organization, in your chapter, that you can invite and encourage and enlist and just show them, hey, it's all about connecting. It's all about sending the warm message. It's all about getting excited and realizing that this is going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit challenging. It might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, but there's a beautiful mindset that the founder of Phired Up taught me years ago. His name's Josh Rendu. And Josh taught me the simple thing. In order to grow in any area of life, you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Being the only times we grow, and think about it, you're probably experiencing it right now in college. There have been some real uncomfortable times at finals, maybe in your personal life, maybe moving away from family, maybe a relationship that you've had. But through those difficult and challenging and uncomfortable times, you grow the most looking back. In the moment, it's a challenge, but in the grand scheme of your life, it's actually the greatest area of growth. So I'm telling you to 10x your goal. I am telling you to grow. I am telling you it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, but I can tell you this. One, if you shift your mindset from we have to recruit every single one of these people to we get to invite and connect and build a relationship with every one of these people, realizing that all of them aren't going to join. And two, that this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm going to grow in this process. I will guarantee you two things. You will become a better person and a more confident person and a more fulfilled person. And you're going to hit your recruitment goal. Because I can guarantee you, Jack, if you connect with 250 people there at Illinois, you'll recruit 25. No doubt. 100%. It's almost impossible to not. As long as you truly connect and have a conversation, even if it's just 5 minutes and you happen to spark up something. If you hit that number and you use tools like we have in our classroom to really encourage you, you're going to achieve that. So that's the call out here. And something that, we've really, I want to just hit on a couple big opportunities for you to think about, and then a resource that you all have as part of our partnership. And then we'll wrap up with like any additional thoughts or QA. I want you to think about these things. These are things to really, again, ponder and write down. This is a good slide to screenshot as well once I get through all of them, because you need to be able to answer all these questions. How many names are on your list and how many do you need to add? We've answered the second part of that question. It's in the chat. I need you to think about how many have we actually connected with over the summer and going into this fall, because then that gives you the difference. If Jack's talked to 100 people, but he needs to connect with 250, we got 150 to go. Where are they going to come from? Who are we going to connect with? How are we going to do that? How are you building relationships? What does that look like? How is it done right now versus how is it done ideally? Because again, simple conversations, small activities, little things that are easy for somebody to say yes to getting to know you are the best ways to build relationships. How will you select only the right new members? Think through, what is it going to take? Because in theory, here's the thing, you all, a different problem to have. If you follow this and you actually execute and get to the 10x, you're actually going to have that quantity issue. So you're going to have more people that you need to be selective about and allow that quantity to drive the quality. But you need to make sure that you have clear expectations of what does that quality look like. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, I would love for you to double your chapter, but if you're not ready and you don't have the right people in the organization, then that's going to hurt in the long term. And then how will you retain who you recruit? How are you going to ensure, if you're growing in this way, that these people stick around? Because the worst thing we can do, just to be frank, is invite and get somebody so excited to join an organization, but we didn't set clear expectations and we didn't get them enrolled and involved from day one. So they actually just go ahead and they end up leaving, whether that's their first semester, it's their first year, it's as a senior, they've checked out. We got to really encourage and set expectations and inspire members to come in and actually be part of our organization. So again, good one to screenshot, take a picture on your phone. These are the questions to answer. These are the things to think about. And really, when it comes to recruitment, the most exciting part is just the first two, in my opinion. And then you have to really be intentional about the last two once you get people to that A plus status. Last thing, just to put out there, because you might be like, great stuff, Chris. I appreciate the encouragement. I love the information. I'm feeling excited and inspired, but like I don't really know where to start. Part of our partnership and what Psi U has invested in, you all, is actually our digital classroom. So this is a tool. Get this QR code right now. It's just learn.phiredup.com, but this is the specific one for Psi U. Go in, and it is a simple, just like any other module that you might take for a course, but it guides you through, and it's really only like collectively maybe an hour, hour and a half of your time. It'll guide you through everything we're talking about here. What I need you all to do is you need to think of an intentional way to enroll the other people in your chapter in the vision and the mission we're talking about here. So you can take some of this stuff. We can share this recording. Great, great, great. But at the end of the day, like we need to have a tool and resource. So for you and for your other members' benefit, get on this platform. It's included. This is typically a cost that people have to pay for separately outside of every other thing in their fraternity and sorority membership. You all have immediate access to it because of what Psi U has already invested in as part of our partnership and the ways we engage. So I highly encourage you all, check this out, get involved, go through the pieces that feel most relevant and important for you in your chapter so you can continue to grow. So this is the year. This is a year for Psi Upsilon, everyone. And what I want to do is us to revisit one more time why you joined before we go into Q&A. Think of that person. We thought of them earlier. Who's the person of why you joined Psi U? And I want you to, on the count of 3, boldly and bravely put their name in the chat. Put their name as a way to honor and represent them for the gift of membership they gave you. 1, 2, 3. Drop them in the chat. We got 2 Bens. Ben is a popular name in Psi U, it looks like. That is amazing. Here's what I want to encourage you all to think about. You have the opportunity to be the name in the chat for the next person. Next year, who's on this live digital training, who comes to the Phired Up event, who thinks about recruitment, who's going to change recruitment for your organization. You have the ability to be that name. And you have the ability to do it just if you go out and you connect. Because again, each single one of these people, yes, they probably shared all the great things about Psi U. Yes, they probably connected you with other people. Yes, they probably talked a little bit about the organization, but you're in Psi U because of them, because of who they are and the relationship they established with you. Just go out there, be you, be authentic, be vulnerable, be genuine, be curious, be what we like to call it Phired Up, socially excellent, and just make the connection, have fun, and make recruitment something that you get to grow in just as much as everybody else does. That's my encouragement to you all. Like I said, I'll leave this up for a couple seconds. I'm here as a resource. Any questions I can answer. If you want to dive deeper, if there's ways that we can continue to support your specific organization or even you through like, maybe it's a consultation or something where you want to dive deeper and really think, how do I apply this to my organization? Shoot me a note, shoot me a DM on Instagram, whatever makes the most sense. Our whole intention, again, as an organization and a mission is to help fraternities and sororities grow. So I'm going to do whatever I can to support you all. So I'll get off my soapbox. I appreciate your all's engagement throughout the chat and being able to do that. And we have a couple minutes because it is a little bit of a smaller group. We were able to move a little bit. I would love to know what resonates with you based on what we discussed, or what maybe there's a particular thing or challenge or opportunity that you're working through when it comes to recruitment and growth. So feel free, again, we're a smaller team here, just come off mute. Happy to do it that way. What best ways or what questions would be most helpful to answer?
I think Chris is still with us. It looks like the video froze up. I really want to thank him for his help. And I will push those recruitment classrooms. We will have a copy of this video I'll send around so you can get it in front of your other brothers. Oh, there is a good question here. Kaylin, thank you. How do you recommend starting those smaller activity conversations on a larger scale? Our rush is entirely made up of planned events, and it's difficult to have brothers individually make all those connections as our active body is small. What you're talking about there, especially with, and I'm familiar with our Delta chapter at NYU. And it's really starting those conversations beforehand and being intentional about uh, assigning everyone a duty and making sure you have brothers that are out there talking to people before those rush events. Bring them in. That's the kind of place to invite someone to, but making those connections outside of that. And I've seen different chapters go about this different ways. Uh, I'm trying to think they call them names generators sometimes. And sometimes it's just as simple as that and sitting around as a chapter. And think about everyone you know from your classrooms, from your dorm floors, from work, especially if you're on a campus where a lot of the people you work with are also on your campus. Just start thinking about, writing it down. Who are the people who may be able to join? For you all at NYU, doing stuff in that Washington Square Park area where it seems like all the students walk through, or maybe there's another location like that. I'm an outsider, but finding an excuse to do a simple fundraiser or a service event or a sign up. But that's a good way to get in front of people and potentially meet people you don't know yet who might be interested in exactly what Chris was talking about tonight. Oh, and he might be back with us. Oh, maybe not. And another thing I'll tell you, Caitlin, we're going to have our chapter services coordinator, Mia Driscoll. She's been talking with Ian a little bit, but I expect to have her out on campus early in the semester, probably about the time you guys will be starting your rush recruitment season. Oh, he's back with us.
I am so sorry, everyone. This never happens. I'm in my office, and so I usually have reliable internet. We literally just had like a little power outage, so everything got kicked off. So I'm on my hotspot, and we're back. I am so sorry. Thanks for filling in, Tom.
No problem. We did have a couple questions show up in this chat.
Yeah. Yep, I got Kalen's and Solar's. Okay. So Kalen, yeah. I would love to just jump in as long as that's good, Tom. I don't want to make
Yep.
I want to make sure you weren't cutting you off. Okay, great. So yeah, again, thanks everybody. Appreciate your patience, but let's go with Kalen. So how do you recommend starting those smaller activities conversations on a larger scale? Our rush is entirely made up of planned events and it's difficult to have brothers individually make all those connections as our active body is small. Definitely understand that, Kaylin. And what I would encourage you to think about is doing, again, I love that rule of 3 to 7 and thinking it in that way versus one-on-ones. So rather than feeling like, oh, I need to personally connect with every single person, that'd be great, but at scale, that doesn't sound reasonable. So instead, what if you said, hey, potential member, this is Kaylin with Psi, and share how you got connected, whatever that looks like. Hey, me and a couple of our members are meeting up for, whatever you all do. Again, a simple one that I love is food, lunch, dinner, because here's the thing, every single person has to eat at some point. So we're all going to eat. So it's an easy thing. So inviting them in a small group and being able to invite multiple potential members, you don't need to like necessarily be like, hey, we're going to have this many members or brothers and this many potential members, but just be like, me and a few other people are getting together, and I would love the chance just to get to meet you as well. It's going to be a small thing, like a couple of us. Would you be open to that? So doing that in a small sense, and just imagine, again, I know it's a little bit challenging and difficult at times, but if 3 nights a week you all got together with 3 to 4 potential members and kept it small, where you have 1 to 2 of your members and 2 to 3 potential members, for example. You're keeping it to the under that 7, and it's just a chance to be able to like, hey, this is so and so, and oh, this is Joe, and this is Tom, and this is Solar, and you're just connecting people. And again, you're starting on that small versus feeling like you have to spend time personally with every single person. That definitely is the easy way to make it happen, because if even if I don't know you, but I somewhat like recognize you from orientation, or like so and so, your friend went to my high school, it's easy for me to just say yes to you. So you just have to frame it in that way, make it really easy. But the challenge is, if you have the typical rush, like I might not be comfortable coming out to a house or coming out to a big event, meeting all these people for whatever reasons. So you just got to think about it in that way. That would be my encouragement to you. Think of the rule of 3 to 7. What are things we could do 3 to 7? Could be bowling, could be, I don't know, whatever, like playing on campus if you have like ping pong. I know, just small things like that that encourage that activity, but you can do in a group of 3 to 7. And then Solar, I definitely want to get to your question as well. All of our members are juniors, seniors, and are in classes with mostly juniors and seniors. Yeah, thanks, Kaylin. Appreciate you. But we need members from freshman, sophomore classes to keep our chapter going. Definitely. I love that you're thinking about that, Solar, long term. How do we reach out to them within the first month of the semester during rush? Solar, I don't know if you have a chance. I would just love to learn, like, where do most of those pipelines we were talking about, the people that come into the funnel, where do they come from right now? Just like 15 seconds.
The queer clubs on campus mostly.
Okay, got you. Where are those potential members that you think would be good fits that you all haven't tapped into yet?
Sorry, what was that?
Where are those potential members that you think may be good fits that you just haven't like tapped into or found yet?
Probably other clubs.
Okay. Yeah. And there may be even a good thing to think about with like, what are other clubs or organizations that your current members are involved in? And that's, think about it again. Easiest way to recruit somebody, not that we're going to recruit everyone, is to have a connection to them. So my preferred method is kind of to your point, but you mentioned that's a challenge. Every single person in your chapter likely knows other people on campus. If they're older, they're going to know some older people. If they're younger, they're going to know some younger people. But they know people in outside of Psi U and outside of fraternity and sorority life. The longer you're in your organization, though, the less that becomes. So it's easier when you have younger people. Now, if that's a challenge, then you start to think, well, what are the things that connect them to other students? Could be classes. You know, if some older members are taking classes that are maybe across other class ranges. So there's freshmen or sophomores in their classes, and it's be like, who's from those classes that you're connecting with, that you're doing projects with, that you have in the past, as well as what are those other organizations. So most campuses have student government. If you have a member that's involved with student government, they should be going and connecting you or finding the person, maybe it's you, Solar, as the person leading growth and recruitment, but helping you connect with the person responsible for the freshman class in student government. So thinking about those organizations, just like you had talked about, where other members might, younger members might exist, and just finding a way to connect. Again, finding a way to connect with those people, finding a way to connect with those organizations, and just going after that. That is definitely a challenge, though. I totally get that. And this is where that being comfortable, being uncomfortable is definitely going to come in, because I bet you can, I feel it because I've been in your shoes. I know it's uncomfortable to be like trying to connect to a person through an organization that I'm not a part of, et cetera, like so many barriers. But being able to push through that discomfort and realize that it may take 5 organizations to find the one that will maybe invite you or connect you with younger people, that's okay. At least you got the one. So that would be my encouragement to you. I don't know if that's helpful. Would appreciate any feedback if you think that is off track.
I think that's good. Thank you.
Gotcha. Yeah. Good luck.
And Solar, follow up with me. I've got a couple ideas that I saw other chapters do that I think you all at RPI would really appreciate.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. Well, listen, I know we're over time, a couple minutes. Thanks you all for your engagement, the questions. Again, I'll put it in the chat, but any way I can be of service to you all, feel free to shoot me a note. I definitely want to make sure that you all feel prepared, equipped, ready, excited for growth this year, because I will be honest with you, as excited as I may seem, I am the most introverted person probably on this call. But growth and recruitment has changed my life, and it'll change yours, and it'll change that future members like we've talked about. So go out there, crush it, have a great term, and let me know how me and the Phired Up team can support you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you who made it out here. Like I said before, we'll have a recording so you can send it out and push it out to your brothers. And I'll have a follow-up email to a lot of people that'll include those recruitment classrooms. Please encourage people to take them. But Chris, thank you again for all your help tonight.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you, Tom.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks, Josh.